Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's pre-match press conference ahead of our game against CF Montreal. Before we start today's press conference, the club would like to make a statement regarding head coach Pascal Janssen. Head coach Pascal Janssen has returned to Europe for a personal matter and will miss our match against Montreal this weekend. Assistant coach Mehdi Ballouchy will lead the team on the sideline in Montreal. Head coach Pascal Janssen is expected to be back in New York City ahead of our game against Toronto FC. We will not be fielding any questions on the matter. Questions are welcome on the upcoming match against Montreal and the team's preparation for the weekend. So without further ado, we welcome assistant coach Mehdi Ballouchy. We'll get started in the room with Roberto.
Mehdi, good to see you. So, first time for you to be able to do this, and when you spoke to Pascal about what your responsibilities are and what he wants to implement, how much of what's going to happen on Saturday is his, and how much liberty do you have to implement what you see and for this game as the game is going on, or even before it, as far as tactics are concerned?
So Pascal is in charge of the whole week. We are in touch every day. Is able to watch the sessions. We're in video calls with the whole coaching staff, so the preparation is no different than what we've been doing, and there is nothing that is me making anything that is different than what I've been doing. So I'm doing the same exact job I've been doing since Pascal was here, and that will continue when Pascal is back.
And as far as the game is concerned, I mean, now you're on the bench and you're running the bench, and he's not there. So again, how much is it on you versus on what Pascal has said?
No, Pascal will be involved. We'll be in touch with the whole coaching staff again, and we'll go through the game, preparing the way we've been preparing before. And with today's technology, Pascal can be, as involved as he wants to be and can be remotely.
Hey, Coach, how are you? Scott Scherson, Stream Punk Soccer.
Scott.
Likewise. Very simple. Do we have any injury updates, and how's the team overall? Thanks.
Injury updates, no. The team's doing well. The team's, it's been a little while now since we played the last game. It's post-break, and the guys have been training really, really well, and everybody's looking forward to the trip to Montreal.
Onto the Zoom, we'll go with Michael.
Mehdi, Mike Andrew from Blue City Radio.
Michael, how are you?
Esteban can tell me if this is an appropriate question or not. Are you comfortable with the situation, with the responsibility of being the coach, but having Pascal's input?
Of course. That is my role, that is my job, and I'm happy to do so. Pascal is the head coach of the club, and my role hasn't changed. And as I said, we're preparing this game as we've prepared the previous 18.
Andrew?
Hi, this is Andrew Lee with Hudson River Blue. Thank you for taking the time.
Of course.
So you mentioned it a little bit, but there's been a pretty big gap in time between June 12th when you guys played last and now. Is that sort of a difficulty that you as the coaching staff kind of deal with, knowing that your players are sort of off and not active for that long of a period in the middle of the season? And how do you kind of work to make sure that there's no drop off from how you guys played against Atlanta to now Saturday against Montreal?
I think the break, to be honest with you, is really important for the players. I think it's a good idea to implement a 5-day break for them, because I think the reality of the league and the travel is very hectic, and that's probably around the six month line where the break was. And what you see, interesting, what you see afterwards is a lot of energetic people. So the guys have been back, refreshed, training really well, and getting prepared for the game.
Chris?
Hey, Mehdi, Chris Cameron from the Outfield.
Chris.
I'm just wondering if you can give us an availability update, who's going to be available and who's not. And then additionally, I was, the team has been employing a lot of center backs lately in the last few matchups. Last one we even saw Hack, Thiago Martins, Tansiyevich, and Risa. What are you seeing that, that particular deployment of center backs gives you, and what might it take away? Thanks.
Say the first part again, sorry.
In terms of who's available for the game and who's not?
I can't really comment on that just yet because I came straight off the pitch, and that hasn't just been decided just yet. On the second part of the question, the reality is the difference that we've had with our four back line with our center backs is the versatility of Justin Hack, right? So he's really a center back, but he pushes in and plays as a midfielder, and he's done that really well. His timing has been really good and improved, and it's something that gives us a number in the midfield when we need it, and a number back when we need it as well.
Andrew?
Hey, Andrew Lee again from Montreal Blue. I wanted to ask about Julian Fernandez. We've seen him playing centrally more when we're used to seeing him kind of on the right wing for a lot of the time he's been in NYCFC. What has Pascal and you and the staff kind of seen in his game that has lended itself to trying him more in like a central attacking midfield role? And do you think that's something that he's sort of like particularly well suited for? And will we see more of that kind of thing going forward?
Yeah. So Julian is even when he played wide or on the right side, he was somebody that we've used on the line, and we've also used him in between the lines. So the role is not so unfamiliar to him because we have asked him to play in between the lines before. The reality of the last game, he was probably, and you are right, he spent more time on the right pocket more often than on the line. I think it's a position for him that could be really, he could be really dangerous in between the lines. It's something that he's been improving at, and it looks more and more comfortable as the games go.
Back to the room. We'll go with Scott.
Coach, thanks. One more, if you don't mind. Thanks. Talk a little bit about Monsef Bakrar's growth since 2023. He had the struggles early on. He started to make a little progress, and now 2 goals in the last 4. What have you seen in that time since from then to now? Thanks.
I think the one thing about Monsef is his work rate that hasn't changed from the day he was here. That never changed, and it gives a lot of energy to the group, and people love him for it. The things he improved, and even if you ask him, he's added more things to his game, right? So when he first got here, he was somebody that can attack the spaces, and he can do it and redo it, and he was a handful doing that. Now he still has that piece of that part of the game, and you can see he's added link-up play. His movement is smarter. He's gotten a little bit better inside the box, and like you said, the last 2 games has been fantastic for us in terms of coming in and changing the course of the play.
Hannes Wolf, obviously 4 goals, last 2 games, 6 goals already so far this season. What has been the change in him that you can see and that has made him a much more effective goal scorer now?
To be honest with you, Hannes was arrived into chances. If you talk even last year, he didn't have the numbers that he does have this season, but he's more clinical. He's arriving to moments. His timing is better in and around the box when he arrives, and he's more clinical, so he makes him more productive for us. I think the other piece that we need to give Hannes is his work out of possession as well. The role he plays for the team when we do need him to, whether that's high pressing, whether that's dropping to make the 5. I think somebody that can do both, and it's been really impressive to see him do both sides of the ball.
Thank you. Back to the Zoom. We'll go with Michael.
Mehdi, thanks again for the time.
Of course, man.
You had a long career in MLS. Can you talk about the differences, how you see the league, especially a team like Montreal versus how Pascal does, being that he's still getting used to the league?
I wouldn't say it's still getting used to the league. I think Pascal spends a lot of time watching games, studying the oppositions, watching our game, trying to improve it. So I would say that he's very familiar with the league, more familiar than we probably think on the outside, because we automatically think, I think with the people that work in the league, that's a foreign coach and it's just totally different. Yeah, it is different in the beginning, but I think people adapt and they can adapt really quickly. The league, as you know, is the things that people are not used to. Of course, the travel, the home and away matches can be very different. It can be open at times, it's very transitional. So all these things that maybe they don't have as much of in Europe that have been constant in our league.
Chris?
Hey, Chris Campbell from the outfield once again. I know you mentioned Pascal's still in charge throughout this whole process, but you will be the man on the sideline managing the match. Joining the ranks of Frank Lampard, Andre Pirlo, and Andoni Iraola, former NYCFC players, to have managed the match. What are you expecting this to mean to you and your feelings come Saturday? Thanks.
It's a good question. To be honest, I haven't put a lot of thought into that. I think maybe post game I can reflect and see what I get out of it as a as a coach, as a human being. But I've kind of been on task, and it's about doing the task in hand and from one thing to the other, and making sure that the preparation is right, making sure that the staff is right, making sure that the group is right. So I haven't had time to reflect on that, but I think that's something that maybe post game I could look back and see what I got out of it.
Great. Thank you very much, everybody.
Recording stop.